What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy with Trading Decoded, and I'm making this video for a few reasons, but mainly based off of what happened to me on Friday, which resonated with how I know a bunch of people feel on a regular basis. Normally, this is a talk I would have with my Patreon or Discord community, but I believe that it could help any trader at the end of the day. And it's all based on emotion and how it affects us, no matter how good we think we are. So I'll give you a brief rundown of what happened to me on Friday, and then there's some points I want to make that may help you. Friday, I had a bias of calls before the market even opened. I'll quickly run down what I think those biases were derived from, and then I will explain what happened. So I think that because April is typically a bullish month, and the fact that we had just the day before come off a pretty nasty red day, that I figured we would move up on Friday, April 1st. 8 minutes into the day, I bought 5 calls for $104 or $109 a piece. And then as SPY started to trickle down, I averaged down by buying 5 more calls at $34 each. And I think my average was $71 or $77 on 10 calls. Now, people ask me all the time, what is my max loss, or what's my risk management, or what percentage do I allow things to go before I cut them? And on this account, the smaller account, I'm referring to my baby account that I've been publicly trading and showing you guys every week. I tell people it's not so much a percentage loss on the account or a percentage loss on the trade for this. I basically give myself a $100 max loss limit for any given day. Doesn't matter how I get there, whether it's on one trade, whether it's on 3 trades, whatever the case is, the max loss that I have stuck to is no more than $100. I've been very fortunate, and I think I only had one losing day over the course of the month. So I haven't had to test that out more than once until Friday. So Friday, I held those calls, blew right past my $100 loss, and then I think that I averaged down when I was closer to being down $200. But it kept going down from there. At one point, actually, when I sold and finally realized and cut that loss, I was down $610. Now, on that account, that's about 35% of the account total. And it dawned on me that why I had gotten there and what happened and all of the emotions that I dealt with leading up to that point. It's everything I tell everybody not to do. But the reason I'm having this video with you guys is to show you that no matter how good we are or how much we've done this, we are human, and emotions are part of our anatomy. It's part of what makes us human. And I was fed a humble sandwich on Friday because of my emotions. And I went through all stages of it. So I went through the bias part of it, saying we got to go up. That was my first mistake, lack of patience, and assuming that I knew what was going to happen. Then I went through the hold and hope stage. Got down to my limit, still convinced it was going to eventually go back up. And not only did I not cut it, I made it worse by averaging down. And then I went through the, well, I'm already down this much, who cares? Actually, I told myself I'll adjust it to a max loss of $500. Now on the trade, the most I could have lost was $770. 10 calls, I think at a $77 average, max loss $770. I had said to myself, I'll cut it at $500. Didn't cut it at $500. Don't know why. Just couldn't bring myself to accept it. And then I immediately went into I'm already down this much, 80%. I think I told myself, I'm willing to take the full loss. Everything I tell people not to do. I say it almost daily because people do it. I did it. I felt it. I did the same thing that I tell people not to do. I am open with you guys. I tell you when I do things, and I got nothing but support from my Discord community, which was amazing. It wasn't surprising because that's the type of community we are. But I admitted that I did everything I shouldn't do. I admitted I was human. I make mistakes too. So where I'm going with this is I ended up cutting the trade for a $610 realized loss, which was about 35%, give or take, of the overall account for the baby account. It stung. It hurt. I accepted the loss on the chin. It was a humble sandwich. But it dawned on me that there are people out there who trade like this with this feeling every day. And then I started to wonder and process the idea of trying to do that and being successful while feeling that way. And it's impossible. You cannot do that. So we have to figure out a way to bring those emotions back in check. And the only way I could suggest to do that is simply by playing much smaller positions and waiting for specific setups that work for you more often than they don't. It's very easy to get wrapped up in the idea of growing an account at a certain rate. It's very easy on paper to say, I can do a plus 1% gain on my account per day. It's reasonable. And it is, as long as you're patient enough to wait for the trades that get you there. So I took the $610 loss. And about an hour after that, I started to think more clearly, more patiently, and decided that I was going to try to trade not for the purpose of breaking even or being green, but to minimize the loss that I'd have already taken. Now, what you have to realize here is the struggle I was having during that decision process in my head was, if I'm not mentally where I need to be for this, I'm going to make my $610 loss worse. And if you cannot resolve that argument in your head and feel good about it, it's better to keep that loss where it is. Now, I had cleared my mind. I had started to think like I should be thinking, like I have been thinking. And I didn't go right back in with 10 puts or 10 whatevers to try and quickly dig out of that hole. I did it across 2 trades when the setups were right. And not only did I minimize that $610 loss, I actually realized a $90 gain on the day. Now, I was up $300 on the day on my final trade, but still, greed got me. And I held too long and ended up cutting $290 of that loss away, or gain away, and only retaining a $90 gain on the day. I am extremely lucky to have made it not only to zero, to break even on the day, but to walk away with a profit. But the point of this is not to say you can trade your way out of a hole. The point is that if your head is right and you're thinking clearly and you're taking strategic and proper entries in following what the chart is telling you, that you can minimize a loss if you got there when your head was in the wrong place. But do not attempt to do that unless you are convinced and you know that your head is right. Otherwise, you will make the problem worse. And going back to realizing that people trade like this every day is heartbreaking, because even on that one day, yesterday, I was destroyed in my head. My heart rate was up. I mean, everything about it was shitty. It sucked. And it got me negative $610. So I know the struggle is real, guys. I know that it exists. I deal with it. I had to deal with it. You can minimize that feeling. On the same day, on a much smaller account, I took 2 trades, properly executed, made $110. 3 trades, 1 contract each, all 3 out of the money, 30% gains on each one, $110 profit. 0 stress. I didn't even watch the trades. I literally set limit orders at 30% profits, and they filled themselves while I was wrecking myself on the baby account that I am trading publicly. That right there shows you that all I did different between those 2 accounts yesterday was exercise patience, left greed at the door, and did what I know how to do, what I'm trying to teach you guys how to do. And I gained $110 over there on a $300 account, and I gained $90 over here on a $2,100 account, with a lot more stress, a lot more emotion, and almost wrecked myself. I did temporarily wreck myself. The problem with trading is so many people only see the profitable traders online. It's very rare that pros or people selling you stuff or whatever will admit when they take losses. There are some that do, and that's great that they're willing to do that. It hurts to do it. Just trading that small account that I'm doing publicly puts all kinds of additional stress on me, because I know that I have to be accountable, because I'm going to show you all what I did at the end of every week. So I can, I have a whole different level of respect for the people that are live trading while people are watching them in big communities and big settings and, huge positions. I admire those who admit their profits and their losses. I try to be that guy. And, but the sad reality is a lot of people don't. And so all we know as retail traders is how easy it is, or how big the numbers can be, or how great, or, how easy it is to learn. I'm here to tell you that no matter how long or how good your trading is, you will always struggle with emotion, and you will always take losing trades. The difference being whether you're taking more losses than gains, that determines whether you're a decent trader or a losing trader. Not number of losses and wins. That ratio doesn't matter. It's the dollar amounts that you're losing versus what you're gaining. But it never gets easy. It never, ever gets easy. Promise. So for those of you who are struggling with this feeling that I felt on Friday, and I used to feel when I first started trading every day, I have forgotten what that feeling was like until Friday. And I don't miss it at all. And I feel sympathy for the people who trade with that feeling on a regular basis. What you need to do is, no matter how you're trading, smaller positions, And whatever you can do to lessen the risk. The rules that are out there about using no more than 1% of your account per trade or whatever the numbers are, they're there for that reason. When you're starting to learn trading, you should be trading for the purpose of having more positive days than negative days, not specific dollar amounts. Because when you set yourself up to hit certain goals, if you fail to meet those goals, all of a sudden you're increasing the stress on yourself because you're going to want to keep that goal and maintain that level of goal. Otherwise, you feel like you're doing no good, or you're not good enough, or you're not trading, you're not making enough money, or, whatever the case is, or you're not keeping up with the guy next to you who's doing the same challenge, or whatever. That should not be your goal. Your goal should be not going backwards on your account. I tell my people all the time, don't focus on the dollar, focus on the color. Close green on the week, on the day, on the month, on the year. Then, when you're consistently closing green, then you focus on building the account monetarily. Because if you can close more green days than red, and that number increases over time, you're getting better as a trader. You don't want to start risking bigger dollar amounts until you're good enough to justify it. Start small. This baby account challenge was specifically for people in this situation. $35 to what is now almost $2,300 in 1 month. 1 month. And the only day that I really risked hurting myself severely was Friday. I admit that. I did everything wrong. But for the other 25 days or whatever trading days were in the month, I didn't do that. And look what happened. I grew that account by 6,300% in 1 month. Emotional control and risk management are massive. And if you can control your emotions, then you can learn to make more money over time. But until you do, I highly recommend you stay small. If you got $1,000 account, don't ever say making $10 isn't good enough. I need to make 10% a day. I need to make 5% a day. No, you need to make green. That's what you need to do. And you need to string a bunch of those in a row so that you can prove to yourself that you know what you're doing. Then we introduce the emotional issue and stresses of scaling to build the account dollar-wise. That's the way it goes, guys. Not the other way. Not how fast can I build my account and then we learn how to trade. No, because you'll blow up your account. A lot of people are right now. And emotion is what's blowing your account up. Guaranteed. You're trading scared, or you're revenge trading, or you're trading too big because you want to grow too fast. Patience is a motherfucker. It is what it is. If you don't possess it, then you shouldn't be trading. Now we're 20 minutes into this video, and I feel like I've said all I have to say on this topic. I hope that this video resonates with traders out there, because I am proof, living, talking proof, that when this is done correctly, conservatively, safely, you can exponentially grow an account. But the minute you think you're better than you are, or that you have full emotional control over your body, your mind, your emotions, whatever, you're going to take a huge loss. I did it. I was fortunate enough to be able to get back out of it. But that's not the point. If you know how to trade, and you're not happy with the amount that you're making per day, you better be scaling up a little bit at a time, because that dollar amount, when you start adding contracts or larger position sizes in shares, if that's what you're trading, your brain is not used to the swings that come with doubling your position size. So right away, your emotions go through the roof. You start to panic, even though you're still down the 2% or 10% or whatever percentage you're willing to take a loss on. If your account is big enough to justify having 10 contracts, then being down 5% on 10 is not, it shouldn't affect you at all. But when it will affect you is when you have a $1,000 account and you're buying 10 contracts, because that 5% is all of a sudden 50% loss on your account, or 10% loss, or 20, whatever it is. It's a massive chunk away. And that's why I tell people, at least the way I trade, you shouldn't be doing more than one contract at a time until your account's $1,000 or more. When you get to 2,000, bump it up to 2. Anything under that shouldn't be playing at the money or in the money contracts. Make your cost less so that the pain is less if you're wrong. It's much easier. People are doing it in our community now because they got humbled. It's much easier to manage a $60 trade than it is a $600 trade, emotionally speaking. That's what you have to do. Smaller positions means smaller gains, usually. There are circumstances. Happened to me Friday. But you need to build your confidence back up, and you need to build your account up responsibly, and it's going to take time, guys. Patience. So, in closing, for those of you who have consistently and continually hurt yourselves, listen to this video. Get your head straight, get your emotions in check, and do it by taking smaller positions. Doesn't matter what your account size is. If you got a $500 account, don't be buying contracts that cost more than $60. Okay? Understanding that if you get into the trade before you buy it, say to myself, all right, $500 account, even if this contract that cost me $50 goes to zero, it's not world ending. But if you buy a $200 contract and it starts decreasing in value, you're going to be down 50, 60, 70, 80, $100 before you know it. And then you end up where I was on Friday saying, I'm already down 50%. I'm willing to risk it all just to see if it works out. And then before you know it, you've lost 30% of your account, 40%. That's the wrong way. Small gains to build up a small account in time will equal big gains. Then you deal with adding to that position size or adding to that account balance responsibly. All right, guys, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. I am going to make a few videos this weekend. One will be the baby account challenge, and then I'm going to do 2 videos that people had suggested in my Discord to help them out. Other than that, you all have a great day. Please subscribe, like the video, and click that little bell notification. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. See ya!